Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We are back for our second show of the week. If you missed the first one, a lot of talk about it. Many people are saying, could be recency bias, that it's the best podcast we've ever done. At least one of the best. Butch Harmon for 90 minutes told stories at Rio Seco about Tiger Woods, about Phil Mickelson, about Jordan Spieth, about everybody you could imagine. So if you missed Tuesday's show, do yourself a favor and go listen to it. We are still in Las Vegas, Nevada as a crew. This is a very unique podcast as we are, just our schedule's crazy. We're filming stuff nonstop, interviews, playing golf. We got a lot of hot action. So in order to save an hour and a half, we got an hour and a half drive. So we're ripping the podcast in the car. We're going to drive producer Jake absolutely crazy. Crazy.
How's that audio sound, Jake? Okay, all right. So Jake is sitting here in the back seat with Trent and I. We got Lurch driving the big rig, and we have Riggs in the front seat. We're keeping it safe. We got people just fucking, seat belted up, and we're on our way home. We're on our way home.
In the cup holder, and I speak when necessary.
Also, it's an easy drive. It's highway the whole way.
Super easy drive. You're going to hear some blinkers throughout this podcast, but you know what? I think this is the best audio we've had in a long time, considering that we've been doing Zoom. We've been doing phone calls via Zoom. We've been in Ubers.
Yeah.
We've been all over the place. So the fact that we have this nice mic system, we're probably nice and crisp right in your earlobes.
Yeah,
I think
is
it's
probably
fine.
the first time we've been together since, it's been a couple months now, when we were at that hotel all in that room together.
Well, yeah, Tuesday's podcast was like the first time we did one in person in a long time.
And we didn't even really talk to each other. We just spoke to Mr. Butch Harmon.
Yeah, I almost wasn't counting that one for some reason, just because we had Butch Harmon in the house, too, which was an incredible episode. A lot of positive feedback on that. Like Rick said, if you haven't listened to that yet, and you're a golf fan and you like golf a lot, you have to go listen to the Butch Harmon one because it is fantastic.
So we are very aware that there's a lot to catch up on that we did not get to on Tuesday's show because of Butch Harmon. I think everybody agrees it was the right decision. We just let that episode breathe as its own, and now we are back. We had Bay Hill and everything that happened at Bay Hill. We, of course, went to the Dadbod Classic and had an iconic 3-4 days in Pebble Beach, Monterey, California. So we're going to get to all of that. Owens Mixers. Owens Mixers are our sponsor, title sponsor. Been with us for, a year now it feels like. Met the Owens guys at the Super Bowl last year, back when the world was normal. Had a couple drinks during a round of golf, said this stuff's delicious, what can we do together? Came up with the transfusion that you can now drink and try. You can get it at a lot of golf courses. We're working to get into as many golf courses as possible. But you, as a normal civilian living in the world, can just get it delivered to your home. And if you don't do that, that's a huge mistake. We talk a lot about how stale drink orders get. You order the same thing over and over again. You sit down. What are you guys getting? Yeah, I'll get one of those because you just want to go with the flow. You're not creative. You're not bold enough to go make your own cocktail. Well, guess what? Owens makes that extremely simple. You go to owensmixers.com if you'd like to check out their store locator where you can get the transfusion, where you can get other stuff. But they got mint cucumber lime. They got the grapefruit and lime. That's the Lurch special. We got the transfusion. Paloma.
Frankie, are you on that train now, too?
I've yet to have a Paloma. We've been together for... 9 days at this point, or 8 days? We've never had a Paloma yet, which is
48 straight hours.
I mean,
not a single one.
Also feels like a miss because we haven't had a Paloma this entire time.
Yeah, it's a
but
beautiful drink.
We have been ripping the transfusion mix. We've got the Owens, of course, every time we're on the road. Owens is taking over the world. You go to golf courses, it's there. You go to fucking local beverage places, it's there. It's a.
Don't you guys have a sign?
Oh, we do have a sign. So, producer Jake actually reminded us we do have to go see that sign. We have a billboard on the Las Vegas Strip.
We got to go see that tonight.
We got to go see that tonight.
They just put up a billboard of our mugs on the Vegas Strip.
Somewhere, something. I think it's is it the donkey picture?
I think it's the donkey picture.
Is it really?
Yes. I think it's us and a donkey.
Do we have an exact location on that, or are we
Yeah,
just going to drive up and down the strip
it's on an
looking
email.
for a billboard with our faces
It's on
on
an
it?
email somewhere. It's there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Owens Mixers, thank you to Owens. You guys are delicious, and those of you that have not tried it, please go try it. If you have tried it, go try it some more. Keep ordering it because it supports them and it supports us, and they're great. Pour it in with your favorite liquor. Boom, you got a great cocktail. Okay. We are back, like I said, and this past weekend was about as diabolical of one as there was in golf at Bay Hill at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, one of the more iconic stops on the PGA Tour, tributes to Mr. Arnold Palmer, to the King, all week long, and then his tournament. And Bay Hill, the golf course, delivers all the time. It plays tough, it plays firm, the rough is brutal, there's water all over the place, so you see water balls, and usually it leads to a lot of drama and a really good leaderboard and that happened. Bryson DeChambeau came away with the victory. We've debated him a million times. I'm sure that we will again. The highlight of the week really wasn't even his victory. It was his antics on the 6th hole, which is crazy par 5. We've all seen it before. I remember Rory a couple years ago used to take this aggressive line and nobody could believe it. Well, a few weeks ago, whispers started to emerge that Bryson was going to try to drive the green, which John Daly did way back in the day and made like a 20 on the hole. He just couldn't do it. Bryson, said that if he gets the right wind, he's going to try to drive the green. He didn't get the right wind the first couple days, and then Saturday he's in contention. He takes this line 30, 40 yards right of the green. That's not quite as long as flying to the green. Hits a bomb, and this thing, the minute he hits it, he starts to just celebrate. It's awkward. And then it lands on the other side of the water, and he does a full double arm, let's go, right at the green. The crowd that was there was going nuts. It was right among a bunch of other shit going on the coverage with Spieth with a hole-in-one, and then you had Bryson. But Bryson, my friends, and his awkward celebration when he hit a drive, by the way, he just hit a drive and went crazy. One of the highlights of the year so far.
He did the Johnny Drama victory with the 2 arms in the air. He did it because that was his victory, and they interviewed him afterwards, and he said it felt like I won a golf tournament. And that is really, again, we talk about Bryson all the time on this show, and we go back and forth, but the fact of the matter is that he can create a storyline out of thin air, where people were talking about the 6th hole at Bay Hill leading up to the tournament, where imagine a world where Bryson DeChambeau is not a golfer and he does not exist on the PGA Tour. We're just, we're doing a pretty normal lead up to Bay Hill and the Arnold Palmer, which is fine, but you get a guy like Bryson and he creates storylines simply just by existing and pushing things to the limit, and he just hit that ball a goddamn mile, and I'm going to say it, I'm proud of him. I'm proud that he was able to do it,
Well, to say it was like a double arm raise let's go is almost giving it too much credit. It was an awkward double hand raise bench press type move.
Well, he's an awkward guy.
Right, I know, but I'm not saying this was put together in any sort of it was 100% genuine, yes, without question. No, and it was spot on. It was a robot raising its arms in a weird way.
He was so genuinely happy that he had done it, and how often in our lives do we ever achieve something that we actually were trying to achieve that would bring us to a point of genuinely throwing our arms in the air and being excited?
Almost never.
Well, probably
never. Yes.
Yeah, probably never. But I've gotten crazy overly excited about just the littlest things in the world. But what I want to say about Bryson is, I think when his entire being is about being the guy who can hit the furthest balls like that, he has to attempt things like this, and he has to succeed, right? When you say, I'm this guy that's going to be fucking hitting 400-yard bombs, I'm going to be changing the game, this is the way it's going to happen, I'm the guy on the cover of these magazines where they put the muscle milk next to me, and I've got my arms ripping out of my fucking shirts. You got to show up to Bay Hill, you got to fucking do something that no one else tries to do, and you have to succeed. And when he does do that, I know, that feeling of holy fuck, I'm that dude, and I just fucking did it. I don't blame the guy for fucking throwing his arms up.
Right.
He succeeded.
And I was watching Golf Channel early in the week, and they were saying that he was almost too focused on the 6th hole, and that he needs to focus more on winning and trying to score at these golf tournaments as opposed to doing these crazy feats that grab headlines and go viral on Twitter. He did both this week. Right. He did both of them. And if he continues to do that, he is just going to be a monster going forward, because they are right. It becomes a bit of a sideshow and a gimmick if you just try to hit it as far as you can and you don't end up winning tournaments. But he won at Wingfoot. He just won last week at Bay Hill. We were talking about it at the airport, how he's got 8 wins now, 1 major. He is a serious, very serious contender on the PGA Tour every single week, and that makes it less gimmicky.
Someone on his Instagram commented, He put up a video of him just hitting a drive, or maybe it was the first time he attempted the 6th hole, right? And he got it, right? And with that crazy celebration, and someone wrote, this isn't going to hold up. You need to, dial this back. And he just responded to the guy, 1 at Wingfoot, bro.
Right.
That's the perfect answer. That's what Riggs said to me back in the day when I was saying that everything he's doing is so gimmicky. He's spraying water on the balls. He's the fucking scientist. Just go out there and be normal and don't do all this stuff for your brand. And Riggs was like, well, at this point he has like 5 wins on the PGA Tour and he's fucking doing stuff. Like at that point he had won 3 tournaments out of the last 4, and I was chirping him for being weird, but it's like it's working. So I'm back on that side, and I know I fucking flip-flop more than people like pancake makers at IHOP, but I'm on his side right now. The guy's fucking producing. What am I supposed to say to him?
And our original beef with him that Trent and I had way back in the day was that he had the scientist commercial that would always come on Microsoft or whatever it was, and it would come on the weekend and he wasn't even making the cut.
Correct.
So we were like, you can't have this brand where you are like out thinking the game, you're thinking outside the box, you've got the one-length irons, and then just not be that good. Like that's not... Who cares? You're just doing it for your own brand, or what? You're doing it for no reasons. When you now get to the point like Bryson has, where completely transformed his body, he's goofy as hell. He tests the limits of every little thing that you can come up with in golf, down to spritzing his ball, which we've laughed about. Then you win the U.S. Open at fucking Winged Foot. Now you're winning at Bay Hill and continuing to win. It very much not only just validifies what you're doing, but it.
That'll work before we go further.
Validify?
I think you're looking for a legitimizes.
Solidifies?
Validifies, I think, should be a word because it
That's a
does
blend.
convey what you're trying to get across.
Right.
But I think it's legitimizes. But I like validifies.
Validify is awesome.
If we're being straight up.
I think that's a mixture of like
you make it valid.
valid, solidify.
Validate?
I don't know.
Validate.
Not
Validate.
legitimize.
Whenever you guys need to figure out a word or a phrase, you come right here in this backseat, sitting next to Jake doing a podcast on our way home from Mesquite, Nevada. I will let you know what that correct word is. And you know that. You know
I think we should maybe coin that as a Riggs word.
I did a validate.
Hey, Lurch,
solidify
let's eliminate the eye contact. All right, so I gotta just.
I mean,
I don't want to throw this thing off. I don't want to throw this thing off the rails.
This
You're
needs
about
to be.
to.
This
needs to be addressed.
It does.
Benjamin Severance, and I'm using your fucking government name now.
You didn't use
Fucking-
my middle. I'm fine.
He does this thing when he drives, and listen, me and Lurch, we have our differences, right? But at the end of the day, I think he's a great dude. I like to share a laugh with him. I think he's got a good sense of humor. What I don't like about him is when we're driving these fucking cars. He drives, right?
We've
he rents
got
a car.
Fundamental difference in how we approach life. I
Listen,
think.
you are a guy who likes to fucking bring a lot of energy to the room. You like to do a lot of eye contact. I'm not an eye contact kind of guy. I'm frail. I shrivel up. I like to talk behind people's back and then kind of run away. You are like chest out, eyes to eyes, and just like, all right, buddy, we're in a conversation. Here I am.
He's
Yes.
always
So-
very
can't do
engaged
that.
in
That
every
is-
conversation.
Now I'm bringing that up because I'm trying to preface that's the type of person that Lurch is, for anyone that didn't know that. We are driving a vehicle, and this has been going on for years now, it feels like.
Yeah.
Lurch will drive the car, and he has a conversation, and he locks eyes with people no matter where they are in the vehicle. So if I'm in the back seat, he finds me, even in the mirror, no matter where it is. But he turns his head and goes, and he'll give you his full attention. Now, we're driving 70 miles an hour in Mesquite on fucking I-whatever. I don't even know what the I-15.
15
I don't
south.
need to look you in the eyes, man. Keep your eyes on the road. Just pay attention to driving this vehicle.
Everyone has seen Dumb and Dumber. When
Yes.
he is driving her to the airport
Yes.
and he turns around and is talking
Yes.
to her, that is every time you ride in a car with Lurch. He likes to make eye contact. He wants you to know that he's listening to you and he wants to be involved in the conversation.
Which is a very
I'm a
nice
huge
thing.
social cue guy. I like
Yes.
to advance people through their story.
But
you
Social
have
cue's
confidence.
not going to matter when we're fucking
You're
rolling.
driving. You're
Right.
driving a vehicle.
And here's a question: have I swerved it all?
No,
through this
but we
trip?
don't take risks like this. Like, just fucking pay attention to the road.
I'm paying attention. I'm getting people where they need to get safely.
All right.
And I'm giving you, nice eye contact.
It was something that needed to be addressed.
fair.
We've been around Lurch for a long time, and I don't know if we're going to go back to the Bay Hill talk. I feel like people know a lot about what I mean, I don't want to go.
The only
off the rails
last
too
point
much.
I would say
Yeah,
about
go
the
ahead.
Bay Hill talk is I think I saw Rory try the same line as Bryson later in the week, and he tried 2 balls at it and just couldn't make it happen, which I felt was interesting because like Rory was committed to trying to do what Bryson did and just couldn't make it happen. I think he dumped 2 in the water in that line.
Yeah, I think that almost every player in some way has to pay attention to what Bryson is doing and apply to some degree what he's doing to their game.
Yes.
And like even Kiz told us, he's like, yeah, I got a length swing now, where like I've got a different little move that we're working on, because like I have to pick up distance. There's courses that I can't play. So yes, he is going to require, demand, force players into positions where they got to do stuff that's different. Now, he's not going to win every week, clearly. He's not like Tiger Woods. He's going to have, there's going to be weeks where people say, and they bring it up, that this past week, like Lee Westwood is however years old. He's not hitting as far, and you can still compete. There's different ways to play the game. However, Bryson can be, not as sharp at a lot of aspects of the game and still compete, finish top 10, finish top 15, because he just hits the ball so fucking far. And that is a massive advantage. When he won at Winged Foot, like Butch said in the last show, like it wasn't his driving necessarily that won it. It was like his wedge play, and he got up and down, and he putted really well. Now, it definitely helped that, if he's missing the same percentage of fairways as everyone else was missing, which pretty much he was, he hit under 50% of the fairways. I think it was around 41 or something like that for the week. Like Kevin Kisner misses the same amount, not to just keep going at Kiz, but like, Kiz is 50 yards behind.
Barely puts it down the fairway. Just barely gets it down there.
If you're both in the rough, in brutal Winged Foot rough, and one of you is like 210 out, and the other one's 160 to 130, it's like over 72 holes, you're just going to get dominated. So that's where the advantage comes. It's not the end-all, be-all. It doesn't mean that Bryson just automatically wins every single golf tournament, but boy, is an advantage, and he's proven that, and he ain't going anywhere with it. Like, he keeps trying to talk about, reshaping his central nervous system and all these crazy things to hit it farther, and it's amazing. And when it works, it, as some would say, validifies it and turns it into something that you have to pay attention to.
The way you said validify there really sounded right.
It sounds like a real word. Correct. Every time Bryson DeChambeau is at a tournament now, you just got to keep the cameras on late into the night on the driving range, because he's always going to be there. I think every tournament he's at, there's always, you wake up the next morning, you flip on Golf Channel, and they open the show with, look who was out there last night burning the midnight oil, trying to figure something out, even though he's leading the tournament after, 36 holes or whatever. So it's, I said it a couple shows ago, and I'm going to keep saying it, no matter how we start to feel about Bryson or whatever, but he's great for the game of golf. And if you're a golf fan, it polarizes people, and it brings people to the sport that aren't watching it. Like, I'm sure we're all getting texts from people who aren't avid golf fans who are just like, what's going on with this Bryson DeChambeau thing? And that's been going on for 18 to 24 months now. So it's all good.
To the point that you guys were making earlier, that in the lead up to Bay Hill, he makes headlines out of nothing, in that we're talking about the 6th hole and what he's going to do, and everyone's going, what's that? What's going on with that 6th hole? What's that fucking guy trying to do? And you look into it, you look at the information, you look at the hole, you look at the aerial version of it, you're like, he's going to try to hit it there. Amazing. And he did it again this week for the players. Like, they had to make a ruling that internal out of bounds on the 9th hole at the Players' Championship at Sawgrass, there's now internal OB if you go left and try to take it up like the 2nd hole or whatever hole's over there. At 18th. So it's the 18th hole. And if you go left and try to hit it up the 9th hole, which is what Bryson had been rumored to maybe talk about doing, that, now that's internal OB left of the pond on 18.
I would love to know where these rumors start. Like, who does Bryson talk to initially where they just start to spread like a little bit of a fire, like the 6th hole at Bay Hill? Where did that initially start? I guess he was probably just attempting it, and people started talking about it. But, like, I would love to know how that spreads.
You think he has, like, his swing coach there, like, Tex Brandel or something? Like, hey, I heard a little, this is Bryson, I was overhearing something. He's on the range, might try to hit it over 6,
Could be.
It's like DC, where they leak certain stuff that they want leaked, So, yeah, he is already now created headlines. Where I saw that on Twitter, and I said, Now, what the fuck is this guy going to try to do? Like, so you get on Google Maps, you look on satellite, Google Earth, you're like trying to figure out where he's going to try to hit it. It is fascinating. The guy drives headlines, and I was also thinking that now we've had already so far this year, I would say the top 2 guys that create headlines in golf outside of just being really good at golf, being Bryson and Patrick Reed, right? So they've both won this year.
Yeah.
So it's like, they both drive a ton of headlines for other stuff. Like we said, taking certain lines, what experimental stuff that Bryson does, neurological stuff, whatever the hell. Patrick Reed for way other stuff, typically having a very negative fan reaction to a lot of the things that he does. both of those guys that we all have argued on this show are great for golf because they drive headlines and interest and intrigue. And if you hear that one of them's in the mix, you pretty much want to turn on the TV and be like, what is this guy doing on TV? They've both won this year, which is amazing that those guys with that much press that they get are also winning on the PGA Tour. And how hard it is to do that.
Now I'm just thinking, too, of Bryson, like going on Google Maps, figuring out what the best angle into the green actually is, and then just figuring where he can hit moonshots on Google Maps to hit it to that area to attack the green in the right area.
Yeah, right.
Like he's just drawing 350 yards off the tee to a perimeter around the green and saying, if I can hit it there, I'll have a better approach in.
And I also think it's negating risk, right? Like, I think that the
100%.
issue on the 18th hole at Sawgrass is like it's such a risk to try to rip it up the left side. If you pull it, if you push it a little bit, you're in those right trees, you got no chance. Whereas like, if I just bomb it over everything into the ninth fairway or even the rough over there, I'm fine and I have a decent angle. So he is like calculating all those things and trying all those things, and it's very funny. And, and it led to headlines for months before the Masters. Remember when everyone's like, the Masters foregone conclusion.
He was the number one story going into the Masters.
Crazy.
A year when Tiger was the returning champ.
Right.
He was Bryson DeChambeau, and the threat of him bearing down on Augusta National was the number one story going into that tournament. It's incredible what he does.
And then he missed the cut, or did he sneak in? Did he backdoor the cut?
He backdoored the cut.
He
but
did.
And then he said he felt weird and he had to get blood work done. Right. And he had like a weird stomach ache, and it was a long laundry list of excuses.
He still says it's a mystery. Like, what was the sickness that you had at the Masters?
Doctors have yet to figure it out.
It's like you just played like shit, man. That's all it is.
Shout out to Lee Westwood also. He gave Bryson a real fight to the end. And it was kind of weird because at the end, Bryson thanked all of his sponsors. And I saw this got a lot of buzz on social media. Like, first thing he did was just like thank all the people that have helped him get there, but made no mention of Lee Westwood the entire time on the green. And then he dedicated a whole post to him the next day. So that stuff gets to Bryson.
Oh, he's
big
paying
time.
attention. Yeah.
He's paying attention to what people are saying about him, how they reacted to his win, how they're taking his victory speech. And I saw a lot of people being like, oh yeah, like Lee Westwood was just standing right there and he didn't really like even look at him. It was just like, thank you to my sponsors, thank you to my coaches, thank you to everyone. And Lee Westwood fucking out of the clouds had a fucking fantastic.
But that is the Bryson we know. Like, I don't think there's any malice in forgetting to thank or mention Lee Westwood. Bryson is a huge sponsor guy. All those guys are obviously great for their sponsors, but Bryson, out of everyone, him and I remember Colin Morikawa, who they threw the Rolex to him like right after he finished up so he could throw it on. But Bryson, the first thing he always says after a win, he lists every single sponsor. So I don't think he was like...
But dude, it's so funny that I saw people talking about it, and then the next day there was an Instagram post. Like, who the fuck posts an Instagram... Like, he did a full post of I think it was just a picture of Lee Westwood being like, what a great competitor. I've learned so much about this guy.
It was a Getty image of Lee Westwood. Like, hey, man, no, you played well this weekend.
He really played incredible. He pushed me to the limit. Like,
I think it's no secret that Bryson pays attention to what goes on Instagram.
He said on this
Twitter.
podcast.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he definitely does.
At Barstool Sports, we truly love and appreciate our listeners. That is a fact. Without you, none of us would be able to do what we get to do every single day. That is also a fact. Once in a while, we try to bring you something good. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not. When we say it's good, we're talking about things that genuinely help other people. Now, one thing that's touched us the most are some of the messages that we have gotten about folks who say that what we do at Barstool or what we do on Foreplay, I was going through a tough time, I wasn't in the best place, and listening to you guys laugh or watching your videos about you guys having a good time on the golf course has really helped me get through a tough time. We have gotten messages so deep that we've heard from folks who we've become close with now. We've brought to Barstool Classics before, who said, hey, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had to go and listen to you guys, or I had to go in for treatment and do 5 hours straight. And the only thing that I could come up with to listen to that worked was to listen to you guys. You made me laugh, and it helped me get through a really hard time. We understand a lot of people go through hard times. BetterHelp is something that we've used when we go through hard times. BetterHelp is a customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. Therapy might not be what everybody thinks. Everybody out there needs help. Every single person. You need people to talk to. Therapy is going to help you massively when you're going through a hard time. You need to reach out and get help because, again, it will make a massive difference. BetterHelp, again, is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you do not want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join the millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. That is very true. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, which, again, we have used. We very, very much believe in. It's a great cause, and our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Fore. That is BetterHelp.com/Fore. BetterHelp.com/Fore. You're going to get 10% off.
I think it's just always good to talk to somebody.
Always
if you're going
good
through
to talk to
something,
somebody.
talk to somebody. You know? Ease the mind.
Makes the world a difference.
It does.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think Lee Westwood is hotter now than he's ever been?
Yes.
Like, are we talking about
his physical
looks?
Stature.
He has aged very, very well.
Yeah,
And he'll only get better.
He's got like the gray, the gray has like seeped in perfectly with the rest of his look.
I think that's right.
And he clearly cares about his health and fitness. He's got, it's not a dad bod because he's in far better shape than a dad bod, but he's got a good
burly strength, maybe.
He's just got a
good broad shoulders.
Yes,
yeah.
He's broad and he's borderline thick, but he's got a good older man fitness body, and like you're saying, Riggs, with the gray, it's all just worked out pretty well for Lee.
Like his salt and pepper at this age.
That's what I was looking
fantastic.
for. I knew there was a term for good-looking men with that like little gray hair coming through.
You can also
call him salt and pepper, baby.
You can call him, or you can call him a silver fox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either one.
He's not quite a Q-tip yet, but he definitely does have the salt and pepper.
Yeah, he does. So I think you're right. I think if you
Not
went
even
back
close to a Q-tip.
No, I know.
10, 15 years, you pulled up an image of Lee Westwood to today, I think you would find that he's far more attractive now.
I agree with that.
He also Peter Millar guy. He looks great in that Peter Millar stuff, and he's out there. He's confident. He's got, I think, is it the girlfriend or the new wife? Like the who? It's been several years
partner.
now, but partner. I'm not sure if they're married, what their situation is, but you can tell he's sort of like entered that second phase of like career and life where he almost doesn't give a fuck anymore, and he looks good.
Right.
And another thing I love about his body is like he does have the bro.
This is getting serious.
He does.
No, keep
Go
going.
back to BetterHelp.
Why not?
You need to talk to somebody?
I think. I think that, but this is accurate.
He does have the broad shoulders, and you can tell, like Trent said, he does work out. But he also, like, he has a gut a little bit. So, like, when they, I like a certain angle where they'll show where you're like, he's broad-shouldered and burly, and he's got the salt and pepper, but he's also real, and that he's got a little gut. And it's like, no, he likes to have wine and beers and eat, and he kind of works out, so he's strong, and he looks just like a great mix. And I'm like, that Lee Westwood, like, that guy seems like a good dude.
Yeah, he seems happy.
At that point, too, you're almost going on vacation with your wife each week, too.
Yeah.
Or a partner, whoever she is.
Thanks for the clarification.
But I think... Well, relax.
You've been all over that clarification.
I have, actually. I said partner early, then I went with wife.
You corrected Riggs like partner.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you fucking know these people?
Either way, I think...
Who is this chick?
Like, out of the gate, certainly not going to do that, but later in life, I don't hate that move. Just having your wife on the bag and enjoying each week and going wherever. Partner.
Jeez.
Partner. It could be girlfriend.
Could be.
Could be mistress.
We don't know.
What if it was just his mistress on the bag?
You gotta stop looking at me when you're talking right now.
Just eyes on the road, man.
You've been going left and
I haven't been going anywhere.
I just
18-wheelers.
I just watched producer Jake like throw up his hands, being like, "Let's keep it
on the tracks.
Let's keep it on the track."
Once you hear that, then you know I've gone off board.
Lee Westwood is someone I would love to see him pick off a major championship.
Yeah. But like you're saying, that used to consume him and everything around him, I would imagine, because it's the only thing people talked about when he was in contention at a major. But I do think he's sort of let go of that a little bit, and he seems happier. And maybe, ironically, that might be the thing that helps him win a major.
I could see him picking off like a British Open. I really could. He hits it pretty pure. You don't have to putt lights out, or the greens aren't as fast. And man, it's funny how much like you change your opinions a little bit from childhood to like be older and realizing like more about life and people, because like we used to live for Lee Westwood collapses late in major championships, just because we were so Team USA, and he looked so jittery and tight, and he had the robotic like chipping and putting, and you're like, this guy can't get it done, and then he just couldn't get it done. Whereas now I would just love to see him pick off like a British Open.
I think everyone would be behind a Lee Westwood British Open victory. You couldn't find one person who would be mad about that.
Jordan Spieth with an ace, by the way.
Yep.
The kid's got the magic.
He does.
He's got the magic.
Got the magic in me. You ever see
Ooh, ooh. I don't know.
Oh fuck. What's the singing movie? What's where they all sing? Anna Kendrick. Come on. Pitch Perfect.
Yep.
And the magician, and he has to sing at the end. You know he's the magician?
Yeah.
The nerdy fucking roommate. And he finally sings, I got the magic in me.
That's right.
And it makes everyone cry at the end because he finally fucking he earned it. I don't know. Sorry.
How did we get to that?
Jordan Spieth's got the magic.
Oh, he does have the magic.
He's got the magic.
God,
that kid's going to win this year. I think it's a no-brainer, right? Does anybody
Come
agree with that?
on. I mean, I don't know that it's a no-brainer, man. I think this is going to start getting to him. I don't want it to start getting to him, but this guy's in the mix. Like he's just in the mix. He's constantly having chances to win. You don't think at some point that's going to be too much for him to handle, where he's like all these chances are going by? You don't think we've gotten to that point?
He's already won, and so now he's just so excited to be back in the mix and playing well.
Yeah.
Like he was lost. He was like Ricky Fowler right now.
Yeah.
And he's just off and la-la.
I'm just asking the question. I don't know that I believe in it.
I do think he's sort of, and it's going to sound weird to say, like playing with house money a little bit, where he's finally playing well.
Yeah.
That it's just like every time he plays well, you got to think or hope that he just takes the positives away and doesn't think about any of the negatives, because they're not that big of negatives. They're certainly not the negatives that he's been dealing with the last 3 or 4 years.
He also said at Pebble, he's like, I had like my B game. He's like, I didn't feel like I've had my A game, and so the fact that I was that close with that,
right?
So maybe he's just being psychologically or mentally smart with that, and maybe that's not true even, but he's trying to convince himself. But I do think he's going to win this year. I think he's got like top sixes, 3 top sixes in the last 4 starts, something around those numbers.
Yeah,
playing really well.
So he's right there. He's playing well.
Speaking of Spieth, and we have this kind of transitions into the players. I know we got to talk about the Dadbod, but the Players Championship this week. You got to see. There's some really good groups going off tomorrow. And
really good.
You got Reed, Rahm, and Spieth teeing off. That is a fucking. I mean, you want to talk about mental warfare, and you want to talk about like just brain games and people that could just collapse at any moment. I mean, that could be a fist fight. I mean, those personalities, those eruptions going on, those synapses in those brains. I mean, let me repeat that again.
Yeah.
Patrick Reed, John Rahm, and Jordan Spieth. Holy fuck!
I mean, Patrick Reed's just going to be chilling. He's not a like
right.
a blow up guy.
I mean, he snaps fucking clubs over his leg.
Okay, that is true, but he is more.
John Rahm sees that, he just might start helicoptering shit. I mean, they all just fucking snap.
That would be funny if he saw him do that. And John's Rahm like, we're finally doing this. Let's break all these fucking
brother.
clubs. Yeah, but you are right. He did. Patrick Reed did snap that club over his knee at Pebble, but other than that, I think the rep on Patrick Reed is that he is as so mentally strong because he has all these things happen to him and it doesn't seem to affect him. Like he went into the Sunday at the Farmers with as much controversy as you can possibly have surrounding you, and he won by 5 strokes.
Another notable group: Bryson DeChambeau, Colin Morikawa, Dustin Johnson.
Damn, those are good groups.
I mean,
the Players always delivers with good groups. Speaking of Dustin Johnson, did you guys see his quote about the Champions Dinner?
I know what you're going to say, and he's the best. Please read it.
Question: have you settled on your menu yet for the Champions Dinner? Dustin Johnson: I have not. I'm actually going to work on that this week. Well, question: what is working on it? How do you do that? What are you going to do? Dustin Johnson: just write it down.
The best.
All time.
The best. He also recently,
10 out of 10.
Someone asked him about TrackMan and how he uses it or what benefits he gets from it, and he said it tracks what I do. And that was it. He's just like,
I'm a man, and it tracks what I do.
We saw
That's
Dustin
what
Johnson.
Butch said. Butch was saying he's a game guy. He's a total gamer of the media. He just answers short little, he gives short answers. Therefore, he doesn't get many secondary questions.
We saw this guy up
and
front.
he doesn't get much.
This video hasn't come out yet, and it's going to. It's TaylorMade. Watch the TaylorMade series; they're incredible. Dustin Johnson's coming up at some point, and you guys better all watch out for it. But we witnessed the way his brain kind of works when you speak to him. Like we were
jiving with him a little bit, and like when you're kind of just messing around and asking questions, he's like thinking about things. But when you talk to him like a bro or whatever, where you're like, you're not gonna hit that fucking 3-wood, he answers right away. Like, I think that he is just portraying this like, all right, I'm gonna listen to your question, I'm gonna give you as little amount as possible, and because I'm not gonna get in trouble if I just say 1 or 2 words, and that's just gonna be my brand. But when you get him just behind closed doors, I think Dustin Johnson is a lot smarter and a lot more of a normal person and normal brain than we understand.
I do think he's far more calculating than we've given him credit in the past, because it used to be this guy is, and we'd always laugh during the broadcast when he'd hit a bad shot and he'd forget about it right away, and they'd be like, boy, there's not much going on upstairs. It's like a tumbleweed's going to blow across. And
every time on coverage, they try to come up with a different way each week to say he's dumb without saying he's dumb.
Right. But he's not.
No.
I don't think he is
Sly
either.
Fox.
He's not.
Right.
So, and we did learn that when we did the TaylorMade video with him. You guys are going to see that. And that now it's funny to view those quotes like the one Riggs just read in a different context where you think he's just messing with them.
Right.
And I think that's the
Bill
case.
Belichick.
Right.
Yeah.
I do think that's the case now.
Totally, and that's what Butch Harmon said, too, about him. He's like, no, he just gives these short answers. The media then doesn't really have much. They don't go back with another answer about details because he's given them nothing, and then off he goes.
He doesn't want to waste his time answering questions with the media.
Right.
He's genius. The guy's a genius. He's been out geniusing.
Right. We went from people thinking he was dumb to he's now a genius.
I got another little thing in my notes here about our friend Lurch. And, Frankie, I'd like to ask you, what are your thoughts on flying while wearing sandals?
Yeah, this was a weird one. Well, this all kind of comes back to, I mean, Lurch was... Are we going to get into the Dadbod stuff? Because Lurch is like a different type of person during trips like that, right?
What do you mean?
Well, like running into the ocean, like experiences being like that, like the towel time around 1,000 people.
It.
Right. But your way of enjoying it is just a little bit different. Or,
yes, as we stated on this podcast, we live life fundamentally different. We do have fun together, but we just have such differences in opinions about some things that
some things you do absolutely disgust
right,
me, and
they
throw me for a fucking loop.
Right.
And
But
one of those things is wearing fucking thong sandals to the airport. I think that's fucking outrageous. And your answer to that was, well, we just came from the nicest, sandiest place on earth, Pebble Beach, Monterey Peninsula. It's like, we're walking through a fucking shitty airport.
So I took off my golf shoes, and like cracking off your golf shoes is like the same as like almost ski boots to me. And so I didn't want to put my just showered feet into socks as I was rushing out the door. So I put on thong sandals, and that's how I traveled.
Did you feel weird
warm place to another
during the travel process wearing sandals?
100%. So when I put on the sandals, it was more like short-term gain, and I was enjoying my life. But it does get really somewhat uncomfortable when you take off your thong sandals and walk through security. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's no good.
Vegas
that carpet and the
you walk through the Las Vegas.
No. Only through the Monterey airport. That was the only place that I had to take them off, which is a nice regional airport.
No, but I'm saying you walk through the fucking Vegas airport
in sandals,
and then you, like on
but
the
I didn't
fucking
take them off.
shuttle.
That's the one that's where we first
weird.
started talking about it was the disgusting
it's like, dude, we're on the
rental car
to get to the rental car in the fucking Las Vegas Strip. Like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, but if you
put on socks and shoes,
if you like put one foot kind of up against the other, then your toes are technically on the floor of the shuttle of like the rental, and it's
right. They could be, but they weren't.
Oh.
Let me ask you this: if you could do it all over again, would you still wear sandals?
In the Monterey airport, I'm okay with that. If I was going through like Newark or something like that, no, I'm not wearing sandals.
But you were going through Vegas.
I just left the Vegas airport, yeah.
I will say
with sandals on.
I will be on his side with, if there's one airport in the world or in the country where you can probably wear sandals, it's probably Monterey.
That's fair.
Appreciate that, T-Daddy.
That's very fair.
I think that's fair.
Let's get into the Dadbod Classic. So, we've talked about it before. It is our very close friend Josh, who is the man, who set up 3 years ago this buddies trip out to Pebble Beach. And it is a Ryder Cup style. We have Team Josh and Team Riggs. And we have pretty good history as built in just 3 years. Our team won the first year despite it being a tie. His team won the second year despite it being a tie due to, obviously, tiebreakers. So the first year, and again, I told the story on the podcast, people don't remember, our team was down 5-1 going into singles, and we won 5-1 in Sunday singles to get into to ultimately tie. And we had won in a hilarious putting contest the night before with a couple guys in the. What are you pointing at?
I mean, there are two 18-wheelers. The FedEx truck is saying, "No, I'm coming right," and he's just halfway in front of the other truck, and they're swerving. They've come about 2 feet away from one another because it's
we got a battle on our hands.
And then a double wide. So the back end of this thing is swerving pretty good. So I was just trying to get Frankie and Jake's attention and scare them a little bit.
But whenever you try to get somebody's attention, it takes the attention of everyone. So if someone's trying to podcast and you're trying to get everyone's attention.
These guys are battling. So I don't know if there's people that are listening that are truckers and that live. I mean, I'm sure there are a decent amount of truckers or people that drive long distances for companies like this, and they get into these little tiffs on these long, winding roads in the middle of fucking America. I think these two guys hate each other.
They do. They are battling.
Or I would say they hate us because one of them could just go faster, right?
Ooh, look at them, dude. They're leaning into each other.
They're doing something a little weird right now.
Are they drafting off each other? Are they helping each other? What is this?
This feels like it's a negative relationship.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the back half of this 18-wheeler is just swinging sometimes.
I feel like
you're
they
doing
hate
nothing.
us.
You're doing nothing, Lurch, to like.
No,
we're getting
I'm
closer
a good
to that.
distance behind.
Oh, you
him.
think so?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
you don't think I'm. You think I'm too close?
No, it's okay now.
Anyways, the first year of the Dadbod Classic, Team Riggs actually won due to a hilarious putt-off the night before among a couple members of the trip who don't even play golf. They're not golfers, but they want to come hang out. They hang out at Monterey at Spanish Bay. They have a great time. We won that putt-off. Being down 5-1 at the time, it seemed like completely meaningless. Well, we ended up coming back. Our boy Nick hit a heroic shot on the last hole with everybody watching. We ended up tying 6-6, but we won the tiebreaker, so we won. Last year, we ended up, again, tying 6-6. Josh's team had a heroic comeback in a couple of last matches when it looked like we were going to win, and then we had a very intense chip-off where our man Big Sexy redeemed himself after getting killed by Lurch and hit a chip to a couple feet when nobody else could get it very close and ultimately won, and they had a big celebration rolling all over the ground. This year we came in, of course, really over the entire history of the event, nobody had defeated the other. It was like 12-12 over 2 years of doing the tournament. We had a handful of really, really good additions, Frankie and Trent being new additions to the entire thing. So I, obviously, having been there, Lurch having been there, knew to a degree what to expect. Everything ramped up this year, and it was probably the most amazing buddies golf trip you could possibly have. But you two, what were your first impression, first year takeaways as your first kind of experience?
My number one takeaway is it was good to finally meet people who we've been on a group chat with for 6 months now. Because when you get invited in, it's an awesome invite. Shout out to Josh. The whole thing was amazing. But you get put on this group chat with, how many guys do you think are in that group chat?
Gotta be 20-something.
20-something guys who you guys know because you've been on the trip before, like you said. But Frankie and I, who we don't know, and you get thrown in, and it's just numbers with area codes that you don't recognize. Memes that are happening, inside jokes that are happening. And you're just like, I'm very excited and honored to be a part of this incredible golf weekend coming up. But this lead up with all these jokes that I don't get, it felt good to put some names and faces to some of these numbers and some of these jokes. So that was my first takeaway from the Dadbod.
It was nice to see some faces to the numbers.
Yes.
First takeaway for me is it's the best possible golf trip you can have. I think the lineup, the area of the world, the stay, the food. I don't know that someone could conduct a better weekend of golf. I actually don't think it's possible. With the level of golf courses, like I said, I mean, those three things. I don't know that you can find better things.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it would be nearly impossible.
It's nearly impossible, right? Because it's almost like
you're splitting hairs with any other best trip that you could put together.
The amount of money that goes into it, the amount of planning that goes into it, the access to some of these places, it is actually impossible for anyone else to put this up. And the fact that Josh can pull off this fucking weekend for 16 guys is stunning to me. And, I mean, to go through the list, you've got Spanish Bay the first day. You've got Spyglass the second day. You've got Pebble Beach the third day. You're eating at MPCC, one of the most exclusive elite golf clubs in the world, every single night. A privatized, like, under the fucking...
They have, like, a beach house on the other side of 17 Mile Drive.
Beach house with a tent and heaters and a la carte meals. It's just one of the more ridiculous scenarios of all time. And then you're staying at the Inn at Spanish Bay. Oh, and ho-hum, he's got this bro-down house that he rented on 17 Mile Drive, overlooking, what hole is that at Cypress?
The 13th hole at Cypress.
The 13th hole at Cypress. Ever heard of it? Like, I just
looking out to the point, too. Like 14, 15, 16. It's just crazy.
And when the sun's coming down, I've said this multiple times, I don't know that the Earth can be prettier than Monterey Peninsula. Like, that is everything that the Earth can be. There's greenery. There's fucking cliffs going into water. There's multi-million-dollar mansions, which obviously is not the Earth, but man-made. But everything about this place.
Those right there?
Well, you know, I got a little off the rails there, but everything that the Earth can possibly be, like, when you're just looking out at it and, like, you want to paint a picture, Monterey Peninsula is the best. And people have brought up Hawaii and stuff, but I really think Monterey Peninsula is as good as it can get.
I do think it's probably as beautiful of a place on this earth. For us, it's the most beautiful place on earth that I've ever seen.
Yes.
And when you get it in the condition that we got it, which is rare, we had 4 straight days of right around 60 degrees and sunny. I mean, it was just pretty sunny the whole time. And this bro house, like you said, the bro down house that we got, it really made me think that this is the purpose and the goal for anyone that's like-minded like us in life, is to achieve a point where you get to play one of these golf courses in the morning with your buddies and then sit around on this porch or this patio and have a couple cocktails, have a couple drinks, and watch the sunset over Cypress Point and melt into the Pacific while you're continuing to have a couple drinks or whatever vices you like while the sun just disappears and you're sitting there being like, well, this is the coolest thing I can imagine. And that's leading into dinner at MPCC's little beach house on the water with the waves crashing. It makes you be like, okay, no matter where you are, like, this should be the goal, the reason you work hard, or the reason that you network and make great friends, whatever the hell you do, this is like the goal for anyone that's like-minded like us.
I would also say that obviously playing these courses is elite. It costs you X. The weather that we got, people would pay 5X for what was delivered to us. I mean, the views, like at Spy, usually, like, I've only played it, this is my, I guess, 3rd time, which is spoilage to the max. But, you know, you hit that tee shot, you get up to 2 green, and it's been foggy every time. You can't really see anything. People are saying, oh, if you just close your eyes, hear the ocean, you can dream that there's cliffs around you. I mean, you could see forever. Just absolutely forever.
The difference between the first time we played Spy and this time, it was 2 different golf courses.
Yeah.
We played with Ryan Whitney. We played in the morning. It was right around, like, the U.S. Open time. Crazy foggy. A little bit, like, whippy wind. Maybe a little bit, a little drizzle, too.
Yep.
And this time, I mean, Trent, I played with you, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I've never played this golf course before. I didn't recognize holes because the sun's hitting off these mounds, and it was, like, more green than I could remember. And then all of a sudden, like Lurch is saying, you just see down the entire peninsula from Spyglass, which I didn't know was possible.
It's also the coastline isn't so appealing to swim in, but it is the most beautiful thing to see waves crash through and roll over the top of rocks. It's just absolutely stunning to be out on those points.
It's
really
an aggressive ocean, but it's not crazy. Right? It's an aggressive ocean to look at. And it's just enough. It's not going to scare people. People can go on the edges of the cliffs and maybe get a little mist on you, but the views are just
Josh, really man, Josh does it so well.
Josh is a sick fuck, for being honest. Like, the fact that he can pull that shit off. Like, I mean, we're being, like, nice and sucking his ball sack, but, like, you know, he's a sick fuck that he's able to pull this shit off. Like,
shout out Axon, but he is thinking about
what a lunatic that he's able to do this. Like, who can do this?
To help him with the planning of it next year. He is literally thinking about bringing on, like, an intern or something like that to help him with the planning.
He has to. Let this be a lesson to anyone out there who puts together golf trips, and that in order to have it be as awesome as it can be, you have to have a lead man who is a planner, who just genuinely enjoys and puts their heart and soul into it. And I get, since it's left, I've gotten texts from Josh about new ideas. For 12 months straight leading up to this one, it was texts and dinners with Josh about new ideas. And you won't believe this. And then the stuff comes in and he takes pictures and sends it to me because he eats it up. And when you have something, when you're trying to put together a trip, especially a recurring trip and something that brings in the history and all the different buddies from walks of life, and then also delivers organization, you have to have that, because getting fucking 20 people from like a hotel to a golf course, then a golf course back to a hotel or to a lunch spot and then to a place, right? And like the reason he got the Bro Down house was because of COVID. Like we can't all congregate at a restaurant. We all want to all hang out together. So what can we do? And then he gets a home and like, yeah, you got to have means to do that. I get it. But you could do it on a different scale. You go to a different place, get an Airbnb or whatever, and you have to have someone that dominates the planning game. And like we all, for the most part, we just live our happy-go-lucky lives and bullshit on this show about golf and life and 18-wheelers and God knows what. And meanwhile, like, Josh has done all this planning. We just show up, and it's like, oh, yeah, the Dadbod's just perfect. But, like, that is months and months of planning, grinding, going over different, like, mocks for all the different merch that he got, making sure it got embroidered, picking the menu. He picked the menu each night at dinner down to the appetizer. Like, it's just, you got to have a plan guy, and Josh is our plan guy. So it just went so incredibly well.
Frankie, you and I shared a room. How do you think that went?
Trent and I shared a room at the inn at Spanish Bay. I mean, there's some rooms overlooking just the waves crashing on Spanish Bay. One of the most ridiculous places ever. I was lucky enough to share a spacious room with Trent Ryan. It went very well. You know, I love spending time with you, and being able to sleep with you was great. Why?
You always,
there
were two separate beds. Whenever you talk about how we stayed in the same room together, you always seem to allude to the fact that potentially we slept in the same bed together.
I was doing that every morning. We woke up, we'd all hit the range of like 6:37. Like, how'd you guys go? I'm like, Trent and I went to bed around like 10 o'clock, and everyone's like, what? What?
I brought my white noise machine. That was a big hit.
You did. So
that was a big hit. I think you ended up liking it. You made fun of me at first. You were like, it's crazy that you brought this thing.
Well, you were nervous. You go, what do you think about this thing? As you're plugging it in, you're setting it up, you're hitting the volume thing. You go, what do you think about this?
Well,
I'm like, Trent, do what you got to do, man. And it was fucking loud. It was loud.
But it wasn't overbearing. It wasn't
overbearing.
Crazy loud. It didn't keep you up. It actually probably put you to sleep.
And I get it. Like, I understand because, you know, I don't know if this is a Frankie fact, but when we're in the womb, that's a fucking loud place, and it's almost like our bodies need to go back to that. I don't know at the age of 27. Also, happy birthday, Trent.
Thank you.
A day removed. 2 days removed now that this podcast
now
comes
that
out.
I listen to it, yeah.
How old are you?
Trent.
Thank you. 32 years old.
How do you feel about that?
Not great.
Okay. You know, when 32 years ago, when you were the biggest baby in Iowa, and you were.
I was, yeah.
That's not even a Frankie fact. That's just
there's a newspaper article, the front page.
Yeah, Cedar Rapids Gazette.
Cedar Rapids.
That was a front page?
Yeah.
Big baby, right? Is that what it
big
said?
baby.
Big baby. And the article said the beautiful bouncing baby boy.
Beautiful bouncing baby boy. 32 years ago,
big baby.
32 years ago in 2 days, you were inside the womb, and there's just fucking things going on. There's heartbeats, there's loud noises, there's organs, there's fucking blood flow. By the way, the fact that like babies grow up, are born inside like females, it's one of the craziest things of all time. I've been off the rocker here on this trip. We've been together for way too long. We've been driving through Nevada. We've been talking about aliens. We've been talking about fucking space. The fact that like we just grow humans inside humans, and they are like amphibious fucking creatures, and they can live within these fucking I mean, they're like in water, and they have a tube attached to them.
Is that true? They're in water?
Well, they're in some sort of liquid, right?
It's gotta be.
Yeah, it's like a liquid. I mean,
Can't be mucus.
Some sort of fluid.
it's a fluid.
It's
It's a fluid, dude. It's a fluid. They're floating around,
bodily
dude.
fluid.
Nutritional body fluid?
Anyway,
I don't know if it's nutritional because everything nutritional is coming through the cord.
my point being that I think that the idea of wanting to hear just like this ambient white noise is almost like bringing you back to that moment.
Well, dude, we did the video where we packed our travel bags, and I went through all the sounds on the white noise machine, and one of them I said it was a very ominous sound, and I got a bunch of responses of people saying that was a heartbeat because they play that for newborn babies because they hear the heart. They're used to it, and that's why it's on there. It freaked me out when I heard it, but so I just used the regular white noise.
I liked it.
Okay,
I sleep with the Office on, so I think there's some aspect to me needing like obviously light and sound going on. I can't just sleep in fucking dead silence.
Yeah,
I will say, Trent, you're coming at that from it sounds like a sensitive angle of bringing your blankie to a hotel room
weird.
or something like that. Like
the beginning was weird. Like you were awkward about it.
How do you feel about me bringing my noisemaker? It was, I felt like you were ready to get judged.
Well, he whipped it out and started smirking at me, and then there was no moment where he wasn't going to plug it in. But he goes, "What do you think about this?"
You were going to dominate that room.
What were you going to think about this?
Frankie, you're sleeping like me tonight, buddy.
Yeah, it was fucking.
But it was a compromise because I brought my white noise machine, and I don't sleep with the TV on. But you would flip the TV on and I mean, I can fall asleep anyway.
Did you guys have a volume off then, where he's like, you're trying to white noise it?
It was really low. It was really low.
Could you not really hear Frankie?
Couldn't really hear, but it was more just like I'd watch like the highlights on ESPN or something, just pass out to his noise machine.
You iron all your clothes too, which I found something that I just don't do.
Frankie, you do?
Yeah, I like to. I like to do a little fucking press.
I always get the iron out in any hotel.
I like to do a little press, especially with golf clothes. We have this massive fucking trip that we're on right now, and we've been together for 15 days, and we packed a lot of golf clothes. We packed a lot of golf clothes.
Years.
Yeah.
Fucking, and things get wrinkled in there. You don't want to be walking out there fucking shooting 102 at these golf courses like I am, and the last thing I need is to have wrinkled pants. I'm already getting shit on.
Let me say something to you guys. So, I'm going to ask you a question. How'd you like the iced tea Trulies that we had on the back patio there?
Iced teas Trulies were incredible. It was a massive addition to the Dadbod Classic. And just one final shout out to Josh. I mean, I love that guy. Oh, and before we get into the Trulies, I really fucking like the Trulies. Todd Martin, president of the golf division. Is that
President of golf, Peter Millar.
President of the golf. I mean, the GoPro is absolutely losing. Here's a new GoPro. I think that one died.
Oh, I'll put a new GoPro up there.
Todd Martin. Shout out to Todd Martin, of the president of the golf division of Peter Millar. We played with him. We drank with him. We ate with him. What a legend that man is. I mean, he made that fucking trip so amazingly just better because of the clothing and everything. I'm sure Josh
and he's just a pleasure to be
around.
He
is a pleasure.
Oh my God!
I got to enjoy a fucking stroll around Spyglass with Todd Martin, and let me tell you something. One of the best days I've ever had on a golf course.
Yep.
I played well. He had me dialed in. The vibes. I mean, he asked me to put on Grateful Dead music. We were just fucking rolling, and I'm like, Todd, you're just a legend in the golf business game. The fact that I'm playing with you is just insane. He's like, dude, what the fuck does that even mean? Let's just go let's go drink some Trulies and have a good time.
We had a great day.
I was part of that great day.
Yeah. I would also extend that to all the guys. Everyone
all
we
the
met
guys.
was
Connor, E, the whole crew.
Dude, they were very accommodating and very nice to just a couple of newbies. And I get all the jokes in the group chat, and they're all great guys.
Just good people.
And it's not easy, right? When you come into a crew of 20 that have been doing it for a couple of years, and they all have history beyond the Dadbod of knowing each other. And that crew, man, I get so you almost forget each year how much you're going to gel and how excited you're going to be to see everyone. And then when you get in these little one-on-one or there's little pockets of conversations at the hangout or on the course when you get pairs of people, you're it's just a collection of phenomenal guys who like to play golf together, all different skill levels. Some guys drink, some don't. Some like to go dive in the water or try to take a spin in around 17-mile drive, and other people like to just sit in their ass and have drink. But people like their different stuff. But man, is it a collection of awesome people. Todd Martin is, he's a Scottsdale guy for anybody who doesn't know, and he is one of the biggest legends I've ever met.
I think he's my favorite person I've ever met.
Oh man.
All things considered, the things he's achieved, his view on life, just talking to him about just everything. He's we're just out here to fucking have fun, man. Let's just hit some greens. Let's get the ball off the ground. Let's hit the fairway. Let's hit the green, and then let's go back and sell some Peter Millar shirts. You know what I mean? It's just let's get this done. Let's just keep rolling. Let's keep advancing in life, and let's have a good time while we do it. And I loved everything about him. The merchandise that he brought to this Dadbod Classic is. It's out of this world. I mean,
I'm wearing the pants right now.
The pants with the Dadbod logo hemmed into the fucking pocket so you can see it. I've never seen a logo go there in my entire life. It's revolutionary. It's incredible. Todd Martin, hats off to you. Josh, hats off to you. I don't know if we're throwing in last names there. I was about to, but Josh, I mean, what a guy that guy is, and I can't wait to see him again. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for the invite. Thank you to you guys for introducing to me. And that's it. That's my say on the Dadbod Classic.
We don't have to wrap up the Dadbod. I just have to read a Truly.
Oh,
so I was just trying to talk about how we were on the back porch and we were having Trulies, which was a big part of the Dadbod. Also a huge part of the Barstool Classic. The Barstool Classic registration open. Truly's the reason we're able to do the Barstool Classic. Truly's the reason we can go to all these awesome places. And Truly's the reason that we have so much fun. If you look at any of the footage from all the years that we've been doing this, which is only 2, you will notice that people are having a blast, and Truly is a huge reason. It's such a good, refreshing, delicious drink when you're on the golf course. And like we mentioned, they've got now the iced tea versions, which are in these gold cans, and they're delicious. They have the lemonade version, which they've had for a while. Wild berry's my favorite flavor, which is just one of the OGs. But do yourself a favor.
The iced teas.
Grab some Truly this year. Get it for the golf course. Get it for your hang at the house. Get it for the back patio or the back porch or barbecuing or whatever. Because why would you subject yourself to something that's not necessarily going to taste great? You're not trying to impress her. Guess what? Just get a Truly because it tastes better. It's got the alcohol.
It's become a household name.
Of course,
Truly's gotten to that point where, and everyone's done it. You walk into 7-Eleven or wherever, and you need to pick up a pack of seltzers, and you see Truly and you just grab them. That's just where they've gotten to in their business. And when you see them on the golf course, you grab Truly's. Every single foursome on a golf course, they either got beers or they got seltzers, and when they have seltzers, they got Truly's in them. They've dominated this game. They do a very good job, and they're adapting with the iced teas. That was a really good flavor iced tea. I mean, we had them this week in Vegas. So we've had them at the Dadbod Classic, and they are just a really good household name company. You know what you're getting when you crack open a Truly. It's just going to make you feel good. It's going to make you hydrated. It's going to get you going, and you're just going to have a good time.
So big thanks to Truly again. You'll hear a lot more about the Barstool Classic. Almost all of the Barstool Classic stops sold out in 5 to 10 minutes. I know Aaron Hills and I think Ballyowen sold out both in under 5 minutes. We still have, at the last time I checked, and we've been really busy today, but I think about 4 stops have a few spots available for teams. So if you don't live in that area, make a trip out of it. We've had hundreds of people have done it. You can drink Truly's, play some golf, and have a good time. And again, you'll be seeing a lot more out of Truly, but they are awesome. They're delicious, and they make sure that you have fun. So big thanks to Truly. We got to talk about my man Trent and our match on Sunday.
I don't know how I could have finished 100%. The Dadbod Classic.
No, we weren't leaving without.
We're not even close to being done, by the way.
Me and Trent got paired up in a death match on Sunday playing Pebble Beach golf links.
Even leading up to that, it's amazing how Ryder Cups work. The fact that there's fucking 16 guys, you got 2-on-2s, you got best balls, and then all this shit's happening. We're off the map, we're back on the map. Some people are playing horrible, some people are playing great. You're in the text messages, and everybody's trip probably goes through the same thing, but you're trying to find out how the guys in front of you and behind you are doing. It seems like the world is ending for your team, and then you get to the fucking bar at the end, and you're like, oh, we're fucking all square. Everyone just fucking 4 teams won, 4 teams lost. How does that fucking happen? It happened 2 days in a row, somehow, some way.
After it had happened for 2 years in a row.
Right.
So
what the fuck's that about?
2 years and 2 days in a row, the exact number of points had been earned from each team.
Shout out to the handicaps.
Shout out to the handicap system.
Shout out to the GIN USGA handicap system. The fact that is so legitimate that fucking 3 years in a row, 16 guys get together, play golf, and they're all tied, all square going into Sunday. The fact that, is it always Sunday Pebble?
No.
Okay, the fact that it was Sunday singles at Pebble Beach was so crazy to me. I woke up nervous. I woke up and did some stretches in the shower. It was singles at Pebble Beach.
Right, and also you play the blue tees. You're all the way, so you're like, these guys, this is where the best people in the world play.
Right, yeah. It was a tough day.
We played it from right around 7,000 yards at Pebble Beach, 6,900.
And it felt it.
And the weather was perfect. I mean, it was sunny. The front nine, there was almost no wind. It did pick up on the back nine, and we played the back nine straight into some wind, which was not easy. But it was perfect weather. excitement was high. It was tied, so you didn't know what was going to happen. Everybody gets jacked up because we reveal the matches the night before. So then, like, all night at dinner after, you kind of know who you're going to play. And then, you know, there's chirping at the house. You wake up and you know who you're going to play. We got put in a group, the three of us, myself, Trent, and Frankie. So, like, that was going to be a very familiar pairing. And, boy, did we have a really good time. And my man Trent came out red hot, and I will say I thought that based on the way you came out, I was like, Trent is going to fucking steamroll me today.
I mean, it was the best 4 holes of my life. Those first 4 holes.
Take us through the first 4 holes at Pebble Beach.
Well, I had a perfect drive on 1.
Yep.
Perfect drive on 1.
Yep.
Oh, we got to talk about the first hole.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
We're the last group to go off in the Dadbod Classic.
Which is what, 7:30 in the morning?
Yes, early. And, you know, we're up there. We're all jittery. It's early. We'd been up the night before. We've been having a good time. It's Pebble Beach. It's like you're already nervous because it's Pebble Beach. And we get on the tee, and then, of course, a little group starts to form. Slowly of, like...
A couple bros.
Our demographic.
Yep.
Sort of meandering over.
Started with 2, turned into 16. It was just like they were multiplying, like those little fucking things that...
I didn't even know about that.
Oh, too many eyeballs on me. Too many eyeballs.
It's like those things where it's Harry Potter, and in Harry Potter, one of the things that Bellatrix does in her vault is when you touch something, it's like a curse. Everything multiplies.
Yeah.
So when you touch it, the next thing multiplies. So it just keeps getting bigger. It seemed like these bros, every time they hit each other's shoulder, another bro popped out. And you look back, and there was fucking 15 guys standing there just watching us on the first tee of the Dadbod Classic at Pebble Beach, and my heart was racing. But
my heart was going 137 beats per minute.
Trent pulled out his phone, looked at his whoop, and it was at 137.
And what'd you do?
I had a perfect drive.
Perfect buttercut right down the middle.
Perfect buttercut drive. And then got out to my ball, had an 8-iron in, hit it to 15 feet, I want to say.
Yep. At least.
So I had a putt for birdie, blew that puppy by, probably 15 feet the other way. And then, so I made bogey on 1.
Yep.
And then you
had a birdie putt.
I did.
So
I had
like
a birdie putt.
You're playing well, whatever. You make a 3 putt. We go on to number 2.
Number 2, par 5.
Yep.
Hit another great drive.
About a buttery cut.
Hit an iron before the shit.
Yeah, there's like a huge bunker.
Yep.
It's the huge bunker right before there. Take a wedge, hit it to. I'm trying to think, and this is all just happening. Like, it's really actually happening.
Dude, you 2 for 2 on wedge. You were just on the front of the green.
He's 2 for 2 with greens in regulation at Pebble Beach.
Yes.
2 fairways, 2 greens in regulation.
Right. So
playing from 6,900 yards.
This is tremendous.
Yeah. Yes. So I make par on 2.
Yep. We're all looking around like, what the fuck's happening right now?
Yep.
And I'm in. Yeah. And it's just a full day. We're at Pebble Beach. So then we go to 3. And I hit a drive that goes into the rough. So it goes through the fairway. If you're looking at 3, you got the fairway in front of you, and then you got the rough, and then there's bunkers to the left.
Huge dogleg left. You can take it over the trees.
Right, which I don't have the distance to take it over the trees. I'm very impressed.
It's one of those holes where you can sense,
like,
and I know people say it's like 4, but you can sense that Pebble Beach is about to turn into Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
It's making that left towards where you know the water is. I know it's 4, but 3 you start to get the sense.
3 for sure you get the sense because you can sneak down and look down 17 out to the water.
Right.
But 4, as soon as you get past the
for
beach club, then the world opens
So you're in the rough.
So I'm in the rough on 3.
Maybe like we're like, all right, like it's over, right? You didn't hit a fucking fairway. He's gonna slice one into the fucking tree. The houses on the right.
And I hit the best 6-iron of my life.
I
hit the best fucking 6-iron of my life.
Over a bunker.
Over many bunkers.
Over bunker to a tight pin tucked right on the other side of the bunker where it had to hit soft with a 6-iron out of rough where you can't get spin. This thing sat to what? I don't know, 10 feet?
Maybe a little bit more than that.
Maybe a little bit more?
Yeah, because I had a little bit of a putt going there. And then, so that's my 3rd green regulation, which is something I don't think I've ever done before. Psychotic. And I make the fucking putt.
He fucking drained a birdie.
I drained the birdie
down
putt.
3 at this point?
Yeah. No, I was only down 2. Keep in mind, on the
parred the first.
Second hole I parred, and the third hole I probably had 8 feet for birdie.
Right.
Okay.
And Trent, I'm giving him 21. So the third hole, Trent's now at 3 greens of regulation. He had 2 3-jacks.
Even through 3.
No, hold on. He had 2 3-jacks in the first 2 holes, and then the third hole, he cans it for birdie net eagle.
Yes.
On the same hole that famously Tiger Woods made what?
He made a 7.
He made a 7 on that hole.
Same tees.
I mean, we talked about it with Butch Harmon, but he ended up winning that goddamn thing by 15 strokes. That's neither here nor there. But
same tees.
Did I say that right, by the way?
What?
Neither here nor there.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. That's one that you hear all the time. You should know, but I always think I messed that up.
So then I took a driver on 4, right side of the fairway. I hit a wedge up near the green. It didn't get onto the green, so I'm on the front of the...
It was just off for
just
another
off
green
the green.
regulation.
Took my putter, put the putt like 8 feet by, I guess.
Yep.
8 to 10 feet by. And then, so I had a testy little putt for par, and I just barely kissed it. I barely kissed the ball, and I did not think it was going to get there. I think I called myself a baby.
Yep.
In the moment, I said, "You're a baby."
Yep.
And then, but it dropped, and I made par.
So Trent makes 4 net 3. I made birdie on that hole to have the hole.
And Trent's even through 4 holes at Pebble Beach.
He's 1 over now.
Oh, one over. I'm sorry,
Second
1 over.
hole,
Right.
the first 2 holes he 3-jacked.
Right.
I was 1 over through 4 holes at Pebble
But
Beach.
he's So he's just a bit on fire at this point.
And it fell apart on 5.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Five's a tough hole.
Dude, that's a tough hole. And it's intimidating, and it's just really a really hard hole. I think I made, what did I make there? 7?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Weren't you
made a
even
2
through
there.
4?
Jeez, that's good.
I stuffed it.
Oh,
in
yeah. Okay, you're right.
Right.
Wait, no. You went par, bogey, birdie.
No, he didn't par the first hole.
No, I made bogey on the first hole.
Oh,
I
fuck me.
3-jacked on the first
Blew
hole.
it
Yeah.
by 15 feet.
Because I was putting
Sorry,
for
this
birdie.
brain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta go
so
home.
I made 7 on 5. I think I made 9 on 6. 6 was a nightmare. I hit every
Did you get
single.
stuck on the hill?
Dude, I got stuck on the hill, but then before that I got stuck in 2 bunkers, and then I'm coming off the hill. I got stuck in another bunker, and then I went to another bunker. I hit 4 bunkers on 6, which seems impossible, but I did it.
So let's go to the back 9.
Okay.
So
Well, first, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I said the one thing I wanted to do all week was hit the green on 7. I've never hit the green on 7. We played it twice now. Get up there, no wind. You know, they said it's like a 85-yard shot we needed. Maybe it was a little bit wind at our back, so it was just going to be a little check down 85-yard shot. Perfect setting. I get up there, and I don't know. I may have hit 7 inches behind the ball. The ball rolls into just some stuff right outside the tee. I almost had to take my pants down walking to the ball. Just one of the more demoralizing, emasculating feelings of all time. Stepping up to something that you really want to do, and you put such a piss poor effort at it.
You still made 4.
I made a 4, yeah, and the blading one to a bunker, got up and down from there, but just a really bad
you
feeling.
made a great 4.
And a start because I played really well at Spyglass, and a start to just some really bad golf that has continued to this moment that we are talking on this podcast right now. And it's just one of those feelings where you just can't shake it. But it's been fun to watch Trent. I mean, and we got to get to the back 9. But you've been playing some fucking fantastic golf.
Thank you.
So we get towards the back 9 at Pebble Beach. So we get to the back 9, and again, Trent he's playing solid enough that red hot start, then played solid enough. He's got like a 3-up lead early on in the back 9. And Trent, as we discussed many times, it's not a matter of skill. It's not a mental issue. It's typically a stamina issue. Would you agree with that, Trent?
Yes, I would 100% agree with that. I just run out of gas. We walked Pebble, which is a beautiful walk, but I run out of gas. I mean, I was 1 over through 4, and then I start peppering the scorecard with 8s and 9s because I'm just dying out there, which I'm going to try to improve upon. I think this whole podcast, and we say it a million times, but we're all going to try and get in better shape. But I do think if I drop like 15 pounds, I think I'm gonna break 90 like in no time. I just run out of gas, and then I get discouraged, and then it all falls apart.
So again, you're playing well, but you're just starting to run out of gas in the back 9. We're playing straight into the wind at Pebble. We're playing it from 7,000 yards. So it's like it's a grind. I'm just grinding a little bit better, and I start to chip away. Next thing you know, we get to 17T. And I'm 1 up on Trent with 2 to play. So it's been a battle. Trent is getting 1 stroke on 17 and 1 stroke on 18. That's it. So it's pretty damn tight, pretty even coming up to 17. I've got the honor, and I hit a tee shot to about maybe 12 feet or so on 17. It's a front right pin. I'm thinking, okay, I'm 1 up. Trent's fucking out of gas over here. He can't find any Shower Patch Kids anywhere, so we're looking good. Trent, you stepped up. What club do you have in your hand?
I think I had a 6-iron in my hand.
6-iron in your hand.
I know I did.
I'm sure you do, because, man, was that one of the more memorable holes I've ever seen.
Right, I said I hit the best 6-iron of my life on 3, but then I hit the best one, the most recent best one on 17. Hit it to 5 feet on 17.
Probably
Does that sound about right?
Right around 5 feet.
Probably right around 5 feet.
Right around 5 feet. Just absolutely fucking flushed
You
a 6
nutted
iron.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
absolutely nutted it,
that's-
Trent.
It's when you hit shots like that, that's like, oh, that's what it's supposed to be.
One of the more difficult holes on the golf course,
Yeah.
I think, right? Like, you just got
Yeah.
destroyed by Pebble Beach. You're wind burnt, you're sunburnt, you're tired. You know 18's coming up. Like, it's just really difficult, into the wind, ocean around there. To me, to be able to hit that shot and under the endurance problems that you were having is one of the more impressive things I've ever seen a human do.
Yeah, it's a shot I'll never forget.
Then
Did you have a
Yes, I did. I had an Uncrustable
You
right
had an
before.
Uncrustable right before,
that's a
didn't
cheat
you?
code.
Right before, because there's
Dude,
that little
these
stand.
fucking Uncrustables,
3
man.
is or 4 is right there. The third green is right there, and then 17
What a
T is
random
all right there.
time to grab an Uncrustable for us too, right? Like I think Riggs was like, "Oh, I'm grabbing waters and drinks for anyone wants something." And it's like it's 17, right? You know you're having lunch after. No one grabs anything at 17, especially not like a snack. The fact that we were eating Uncrustables, it gave you that little oomph. That's where the fucking magic.
What a
I think-
mistake for me to get you.
What
that.
a
Right,
mistake
you were-
to fuel the big man.
You were a very nice man. You're being very nice getting me that Uncrustable, but I mean, I give all the credit of that shot to the Uncrustable.
What'd you do once you hit it to 5 feet on 17?
Oh, I made the birdie
You
putt.
fucking made the birdie putt.
Yeah.
So Trent steps up on 17, one of the hardest, most intimidating, most beautiful par threes in the world, one down in a match, and sticks it, makes the putt, makes birdie
Oh my god.
to win the hole and go all square on 18T. Then he's got the honor on 18T. And at the time, we don't know where everything's at. We think your team's looking good, but we're not 100%. It could be that this is for the entire match. This is for the entire Dadbod Classic. Trent steps up on 18T. And what'd you do there, Trent?
I hit a great drive.
Fucking
Right down the middle.
nutted it
I
again.
even-
Buttery cut.
I even aimed a
Dude,
little.
I don't even know if it was a buttery cut.
Right, because
Really?
It
well,
was fucking dead straight.
I aimed
Just
a
a
little.
missile.
I aimed so far left that it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I have to really hit this. I'm gonna try and bite off as much as I can here. And luckily, I just hit my best drive of the day, and it landed in the middle of the
Dude,
fairway.
you got this sense of confidence with that cut, and on this one, you really didn't cut it that much. You like took it over an aggressive line. It fucking cleared the bunker. It bounced straight forward with some forward spin. It was an incredible drive. But you're just so confident with that swing. Like comparing it to mine or I don't know Lurch's, like because he's sometimes all over the place. I'm all over the place. You know what you're getting out of your drive, and that's got to be such a nice sense of relief every time
That
you step
tempo
up there.
is just
That
so
tempo is
consistent.
incredible, and to be able to play that like little turn, that little fade is just—I'm actually so jealous of that.
Because you know what's weird is because growing up I used to try to deny it because it would if I hit it too hard I would slice it and then you want to correct that, but if you don't hit it as hard you get good tempo and you know that it's gonna just fade a little bit, you can just use that over and over and over again, and I'm very, very comfortable with it, especially right now. I'm playing pretty well.
So he steps up with a stroke on 18, all square, rips one down the middle on the 18th hole.
I mean, you hit a great drive too.
Luckily, I stepped up. I had to just swing pretty much as hard as I could because I knew I didn't have a choice. I hit a tight draw down the left. Trent hits a good layup.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so I took a 3-wood as my second shot, and there's if you
Lurch,
look,
you can park, by the way.
if you look at the
This is crazy that you're doing
This is
this.
insanity.
Oh,
You're,
well,
Do
I
you
No,
think
why
we
don't you
have-
just put it in
I
the
was going
spot
to go
right
to the
there? I'm
valet.
saying.
I was going to go to the
Oh,
valet.
I
That's
see
why
what
I
you're
was
saying.
waiting.
Well, you can
Right,
still
but why
park.
wouldn't you
like-
just put it in one of these spots and then when we're done you drive to the valet? Why are you
So
driving
Lurch
around?
is slowly driving around
Like
as
he's
if
getting everybody's way.
It's
It's,
as- it's as-
insane.
This
no,
is
no.
great.
Literally,
It's as if you think the wheels need to move for
no,
like
so
the podcast
reason-
to record.
No, so the reason
We can't
that I
stop.
wasn't- The reason that I didn't park.
The wheels are
is
powering
I was-
the podcast.
I was afraid that it would start to beep if I parked,
Okay.
so that I didn't want to get the beeps in the podcast.
What would be?
There was some thought there.
There's some thought, but
There's-
you know what I
when
mean,
we
where I
parked
thought that you
yesterday
maybe
and
you
I was
thought
on that call. There was like a couple beeps, and I don't know if that was doors or what, but
Let's park this bad boy.
that's
See
very
what
thoughtful.
happens.
You
Yeah.
so. Anyways, that was the.
Oh, there was one beep. Okay.
There was one beep. That's more thought. That's thoughtful. That's a good answer. Because you were driving around very
It
mysteriously.
got ridiculous. I had to bring it up. It got
That's
ridiculous.
fair.
It
no,
was-
no, but there was no way to share my thought with you.
There was also a moment cars were driving by and they're going between all the parking spaces. You were driving right down the parking spaces.
I was keeping
So
my distance.
I
I
just
was
was-
go-karting over there.
I was worried what the other cars thought we were doing.
We've gotten to the hotel, by the way, and it's also the Penn owned, which is our company. We love Penn National. It is the M. We'll get to that after you talk about 18.
Yeah, so my second shot was a 3-wood that went to the bunker. unfortunately. If you look at that bunker on 18 that everyone knows about, at the beginning of it sort of juts out to the right, and I hit that 3-wood. I hit it really well, and I thought I had cleared the little part that juts out. I had not, and I went to the bunker, and that was when I started to panic a little bit, because when I get in the bunker, especially that late in a round or at any time, I go into a bunker, it's a problem.
So I saw Trent go in the bunker, and I'm like 260 out into the wind. And I'm like, you know what? Just hit a 4-iron out to the right. You'll have a little wedge in. Trent's in a bunker. Like, take your medicine here, and let's see what happens. So that's exactly what I did. I hit a 4-iron out there. I probably had 105, 110 in, and Trent's in a bunker.
Yeah, so I slapped out of that bunker. Hit a pretty good shot, not necessarily what I was trying to do, but you just don't want to be in the bunker again. So I got out of the bunker, and I had, I want to say, like 105 yards in to the pin. And I hit, well, I don't want to jump ahead too much, but I hit a fucking incredible wedge shot hit to the back of the green and spun a little bit backwards. And it was,
sure did.
All the guys were standing off to the side there, I was incredibly nervous. But I hit a wedge, and it spun back a little bit, and it was a pretty damn good shot.
It was such a sick shot. So now you're lying 4 net 3. You got a pretty good look at birdie. I hit a good wedge in there, just deep, maybe 15 feet past the pin. Trent steps up, hits a really good putt.
Yep, I'm going to talk about it a million times, but I love this spider putter. I just love it. I love the weight of it. I just know, like, I'm not necessarily the best at reading greens. I'm just not good at that. But if I know the speed of the putt that it needs to be, at least I can get it close, and I can do 2 putts instead of 3 putts. Something about that spider putter and the weight, and you're just never going to hit it offline. And if you start to figure out how far back you need to take it, then you're just automatic. And I really do love that putter.
So you hit a great putt. It barely misses. You're in for 6 net 5.
Correct.
I'm behind the pin. I give it a run. Miss the comebacker. 3-jack for bogey. Trent wins 1 up on the 18th green.
Oh, my God.
It was a fun day, man. It really was.
We had such a good time.
Like, I think I would have been happy even if I had lost, because, like, obviously it's an intense day. It's the Dadbod Classic. It's singles. We're the final group off. But, like, I'm obviously ecstatic that I won, but we just had a fucking good day out there.
Do you have that same feeling, Riggs? You didn't care if you won or lost?
I would say that if it had been that I lost that match and it ended up losing the whole Dadbod Classic, I would have been rattled. But overall, I really didn't, because we had genuinely as much fun, I think, as we've ever had.
Right. Also, we could see as we were coming up the 18th that there was a lot of hugging going on, like off to the side.
On Team Josh.
On Team Josh. So we kind of knew that it was over one way or the other, or it certainly seemed that way. So it alleviated a little bit of the pressure, but we really did have a lot of fun. And maybe I'm just saying that because I won, but I had a lot of fun.
And, you know, it's like easier for me to swallow, too, when I knew I hit it pretty well.
You did.
Played pretty well, and Trent hit just better shots. And, like, when I started up to 17 tee 1 up, I was like, this thing's fucking over.
Yeah.
Like, I somehow battled through this. It's over. And then Trent made birdie. And I was like, what a stud. And then made that par at 18. I was like, that's just how you win a golf match.
Phenomenal.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was a really cool day.
That's great.
It was phenomenal. It was just so much fun. We had a great match. And
thanks again to Josh. Just the fucking best. The best weekend ever.
It was the best weekend ever. Our buddy Josh is the man. All right. We are now at the M Casino, the M Resort, just outside the Strip.
Let me tell you something about this place. I've been to Vegas a bunch of times with Dave. We've done a lot of things down on the Strip. Never have I ever knew that really people stayed off Strip, right? Like, thinking you come to Vegas, you stay on the fucking Strip, all the big casinos, all the stuff going on. This is a little bit off the Strip. And let me tell you something. It's like my favorite hotel I've ever been in. It's so fucking immaculately clean. It has all the technology you can possibly want in there. The rooms are incredible. They've hooked us up with suites. We have ridiculous views of the Strip of Vegas. We've got crazy bathrooms. The restaurants downstairs. Are you kidding me?
Oh.
Trent, talk us through your fucking meal you had at Anthony's Seafood and Steakhouse.
Well, you guys had been there the night before, so you knew what to expect. But I went there for the first time last night and started off with a fantastic French onion soup. And even before that, they bring bread to the table.
Oh, how many pieces of bread did you have?
Lurch? I had 6 pieces of bread.
Yeah, I think I was 6.
6 or 7?
I mean, I was saying this to Frankie, and Trent agreed. A beautiful, warm, delivered bread like that with butter is just as good as a steak in my eyes.
And this place delivers. I mean, then you went on to what?
Well, then we got a couple appetizers. We got shrimp cocktail and what was the
lobster
flatbread.
Lobster flatbread. That was immaculate and delicious. And then I got a New York strip, medium rare. Fantastic.
Frankie wouldn't shut up about the charcoal on.
Well, this is my thing. So I've talked in this podcast how I don't want to order fillets anymore. I think I need to move on to a New York strip. Finally pulled the trigger on a New York strip at this place at the M. And I get a little charcoal. I get a medium rare with a little charcoal around it. I say, can you char the outside? They say, no problem. Holy fuck, is it better charred? Oh, and a little saltiness to it when it's charred.
Yeah, that did look good. And you were talking it up.
God,
and
I'm thinking about that right now.
A couple ice cold Coca-Colas.
You had yourself a good birthday at the M.
I had a great birthday at the M.
That's good to hear.
And we're in Vegas. We're playing crazy golf courses. The travel series is going to be amazing. We played Wolf Creek. We did the Butch Harmon stuff. That video is going to be insane. I can't wait for people to see this stuff, even though the golf's been pretty erratic, I'd say.
It's been a little erratic, but that's to be expected. We've had 30-mile-an-hour winds. Yep. It's desert golf, so you lose a lot of balls if you miss fairways. So people are going to see a lot of good stuff. The visuals are stunning.
Insane.
Butch Harmon was just cool. People have to realize that. Like, the Butch Harmon interview podcast was great. Dude, we had spent like 3 hours with him before.
Yeah, I don't know that people really understand that.
Oh, right. Well, I don't think they understand it because we haven't said it, where he just hung out with us for 9 holes.
And then came back on 18, and the match came down to 18. Everything about that video is going to be our best travel series video to date,
no doubt.
There's actually a chance when the listeners hear this, we might be with Butch tomorrow.
Oh yeah, hopefully he comes out,
which is just outrageously cool.
That
guy's a legend of the game.
He loves us.
So cool.
He's a true legend of the game. He's walked with all the great players.
Well, anyone that listens to the podcast, his stories were maybe the best stories I've ever heard.
He just goes, let me tell you another one.
Yeah.
Let me tell you another one.
God, he was so good.
He would do the thing where we'd introduce a topic or start a topic, and he'd go, let me give you an example. And then we were like, that's going to be money.
Awesome.
And it was money every time. All right, we are done here. We appreciate everything. The Players' Championship is going to be phenomenal this week. We're going to recap it, obviously, when we come back on Tuesday. We got water. We got the 17th hole. We got all kinds of good stuff. Great feature groups. So enjoy the Players' Championship.
Thanks for joining us on our ride home.
Thanks for the ride home. We just arrived at the hotel.
And now if people are riding home or driving home, like, we're all driving together right now. You know, you drove with us. It's kind of this like Inception weird fucking thing.
We all drove together. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Players. We'll be back on Tuesday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.